The top news tonight, anonymous hackers assumed from Iran publishing personal photos and documents purportedly belonging to Israel's Mossad chief David Barnea. With me to discuss is former head of the Israeli security agency, or Shin-Bet, Aakov Peri. Aakov, thank you so much for joining me. Now, Israel, of course, is downplaying this incident, saying that the content is generally old and useless. Is that true?
Yes, the contents, it's really old, but the fact that probably subcontractors of Iran managed to penetrate to probably the iPhone or the mobile of the heads of the Mossad's wife is something we shouldn't underestimate. It's really something that should be checked. And though there wasn't really a security damage, but the fact they break to the phone is something that should be checked. Probably if there is no really defense of all kinds of private phones or computers, right, of relatives from the first grade of high officials in Israeli security.
So again, these hackers are claiming, though, that they've been surveilling Barnea apparently for a while, and that this is only the beginning of what they're going to publish. How big of a breach is this? Because, I mean, we're talking about tax records and various photos and things like that. Are we sure that this is not more damaging?
You couldn't be sure. The fact that they have infiltrated shows that there is an ability to infiltrate things like that. And luckily, he didn't infiltrate to the personal computer of the head of the Mossad, but to his wife's iPhone. But it's severe. And as I mentioned, it should be checked because nobody knows if there are not more surprises on the way.
Now, as you mentioned, again, this needs to be looked at very closely, how first-degree relatives, the people in the security establishment and their first-degree relatives, how information they hold is being kept, safeguarded, et cetera. What are the normal procedures? Was there maybe a breach of protocol that allowed this?
I don't think so. From my personal knowledge, I know that there is no security material in the iPhones or computers of first-degree relatives. But you know, the fact that they have infiltrated to a private property is something that is really not usual, and it shows that there is an ability to infiltrate. I hope that the personal computer and the personal iPhone of the head of the Mossad, Shabak, the chief of staff, is more guarded, but it will be very helpful if we will also guard the personal items of first-degree relatives.
All right. Now, do you think that there's anything particularly significant about the timing of this publication?
Yeah, of course. It's a kind of a small or a token revenge of what is suspected Israel has done with drones and other missiles in Iran a week ago or 10 days ago. And it shows that we are not as guarded as we are claiming.
All right. Now, again, speaking of timing, the United States is reportedly weighing the removal of the IRGC, the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps, from the terror group list. And this is supposedly in efforts of closing a nuclear deal in Vienna. How might this affect the Middle East or Israel? Because, again, we can pretty much assume that the IRGC will still conduct terror-related operations. It's pretty much their reason for existing, and specifically to run operations abroad.
It's a true assessment, and Israel will not really profit from the new nuclear agreement. It's not something that Israel is supporting, but that's a fact. and we will have to follow it as and when it will be signed.
All right, and then again, going back to this hack, could you maybe compare it to previous incidents? Is this worse, or is it really too early to tell, how damaging this is compared to other things?
I think, Asaf, it's too early to estimate, and I don't remember incidents like that in the past. But we shouldn't talk as it is really nothing or something we shouldn't look at. It's something that should be really deeply checked and try to protect. And if relatives from first degree of the security officials is not defended or not guarded as it should be, we should correct it.
All right. Aakov Peri, thank you so much for joining me again today.
Thank you for having me.
ILTV Plus, your news from Israel and more 24/7. Start your free trial today. Subscribe at iltv.tv and watch from any device.